Hello everyone, my name is Eric Jones and I am the turf teacher, and thank you for purchasing this course and wanting to learn this information. This is one of my favorite topics. It's about client consultation, and it can be used whether or not you're an irrigation contractor, if you're a landscape contractor, or even if you're a landscape designer. If you're going out doing a particular design for a client, it's some good information in here. But there's some pictures that I've put together. It's information that I teach in my landscape design class at the college, and it's basically we're interviewing the client and what items do we need to take to our client when we visit the job site. And the best thing about it, guys, is this little handy item that I have here in my hand is one of the most valuable tools that we can take to a job site for a site visit, for a interview of the client. But we're calling it client consultation. And let's say you get that phone call. Over my career, I've been pretty blessed that I've actually learned where I can actually screen some of my calls and tell whether or not the people are serious enough about wanting to hire me by just talking to them over the phone. And if I feel good talking to them about the phone, then I'm going to schedule a meeting. But there's certain things that we can do prior to going to consult with the potential client that we can figure out pretty easily over the phone, whether it's drawing a site plan and hopefully you guys will, maybe one day take my site plan creation for irrigation and landscape contractors, which basically we're going to learn how to take a survey and blow it up and do it pretty quickly and have that site plan before we actually go and do a consultation with the client. But we'll go ahead and get started on this client consultation. And so before the consultation, let's screen them. And basically, this is the phone call. The phone rings. It's a busy time of year. Your phone's ringing off the hook, and you wanna get a feel for these potential clients before you actually schedule a visit to their house. Now, if you do not want to work for this client based on a phone conversation, what do you think we should do? Should we just write them off? Should we just tell them we're too busy? Or should we refer them over to a competitor? I would definitely refer them to somebody who's maybe getting started. You guys hopefully will get to a point where you are picky about the clients that you work for. You can fire a client just as well as you can fire an employee. Sometimes you just don't click. And you should be able to pick up from that over the phone pretty quick into the conversation. But what you first need to do is you need to make sure that the client understands the services that you provide and the fees that are associated with that. And I always get the question on about the free estimate. Free estimates, I give a free estimate, but my definition of estimate is totally different from my definition of consultation. Now, just like in commercial work, you're going to get a set of plans and you're going to figure the job and submit a bid to hopefully have a chance of winning that bid and getting that install job. Same thing applies with a residential client. If they're wanting me to come out and talk about things in their yard that's going on, what do you think I need to do about this? This tree hasn't done this well, or whatever. That, to me, is a definition of consultation. Now, a free estimate is someone that calls me and says, hey, I'd like a price on mowing my yard or a price on doing lawn care fertility app. If I'm in the neighborhood that day, I'll stop by and measure the lawn or whatever, or I'll actually use Forsyth County geodata here in Winston and actually measure their yard off of the Forsyth County geodata website and give them a free estimate. I can do that. I don't mind taking the 5 minutes to do that type of free estimate. But when it comes time for me going to their job, going to their home, walking around with them, looking at their plants, I've done this time and time again and I got burnt. Little old lady calls, wants you to walk around their property. Well, what do you think about this azalea? Well, what do you think about this rhododendron? What do you think about moving this plant over here? But I want to wait and you walk around, next thing you know, you've got an hour and a half, 2 hours invested with this client, and you drive by 2 weeks later, and the information that you've given her, she's taken it and had someone else do it. Her grandson came over, she paid him, $20 or did something for him to do that. And you've just given your free expertise. Let them know up front. Let them know up front that you charge for consultation or that you charge for an estimate, however you do it. You guys are the contractors. You know how you can do it. I don't mind giving a free estimate, but I do charge for my consultation when I actually meet with them. Now, if I win the job and I get a good job from it, that consultation fee can be applied to the whole project. So just let them know up front that if you are charging for a consultation that you need to get that. And it's better not to waste their time, and definitely don't waste your time. Time is money, and money is time. And I tell my students at the college that all the time. What's worth doing is worth doing for money. Now, I'm not going out there and giving away this free consultation. Now, different story when it comes to you guys. I want to give as much free information to you guys, and we're going to start doing, little short videos weekly or, every couple of weeks, getting out information. I don't mind you guys calling me and asking any type of question about running your business. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I enjoy doing. I love getting calls from you guys, the contractors that are out in the field working every day. That's information that I can put in my classes at the college and for the CEUs. So, give me a call anytime about that. Well, when you're on the phone with the client, ask them, do they have a copy of their plat? You might hear it called site survey or a site plan. If they have that, that is perfect, because this little information here that's on this screen right here, ladies and gentlemen, I can take that and in about 10 minutes have it blown up to either on a 24 by 36 sheet of vellum, or 11 by 17, or an 18 by 24 sheet of paper, whatever type of paper that I'm working with at that time. Or if this is a design client, I'm at least have it on a 18 by 24. But if I'm walking around with the client, I may just do it on a legal sheet of paper or a tabloid sheet of paper. Just the bond paper that you can buy at any of the office supply stores. But what I'll do is I'll take that and I'll blow the survey up where I can walk around on the job site. Have one of these large clipboards that I can actually, kind of hold up here and take notes as I walk around. Now that's good for me, yes, because I've felt the client, I've listened to them. I'm like, yes, this is a legit client. I'm gonna take the time and do this. If I've got bad vibes from them on the phone, I'm definitely not going to take the time and do this. Now, you may have a client that doesn't have a copy of their survey. Well, you can go to your county's geodata sites. Now, some counties are better than others about which information they have on there. You'll definitely probably get an outline of the house. You'll get property lines. So you should be able to print that off and get a pretty good sketch for doing a client interview. And basically, after I've met with the client, there's another class I teach, site inventory and analysis, where I'm walking around and I'm actually doing an inventory and I'm giving my expert advice, which is the analysis part, and I'm writing that on the drawing that I've taken and blown up. Now, some of you maybe live in a county that doesn't have a geodata. It just depends on the county that you're in. You may be able to go by the planning office and get a copy of the plats. I remember years ago when I first went to work full time after college. When I was doing design work, someone would call, and if they just purchased a home, the banks required them to have a site survey. So that was so easy. The client just moved in. They wanted to, they weren't happy with the builder and the landscape plans that they put in, but they had that good survey. So I was able to get a copy of that. And if you're in a neighborhood and new houses are being built, a lot of times check the job site box. You have a client that's building their home, they're building a custom home, and they're wanting to hire a landscape designer or a landscape contractor outside the builder's contract. Job site, I've actually walked up to a job site, opened the job site box, took my camera, took a picture of that survey, and went back to my office and drew the the site plan. Very simple, very quick, and easy way to do that, guys. If you have the links of the lines and the direction, and that's what we do in the class, site plan creation for irrigation and landscape contractors. It's kind of fun to do that, and it's very simple. You get good at that, 5 or 10 minutes, you can draw the client's property, and when you're there doing the site inventory, you can add in the sidewalks, you can add in the deck or the patio that they've already done. So again, it's something that you want to do for a legitimate client and for a client that that you're going to get paid for doing all this. Meet the client at their place of residence that they want to have irrigated or landscaped. It's kind of hard to meet them at their place of employment or at a Starbucks. You need to see the property, and I love walking up to a job site that looks like this, almost ready to move in. They're going to be restrained to get the job in quick so they can close on the house, get that certificate of occupancy. Worst case scenario in a house like this, you can sow the yard, put down the seed and straw, and they can get their certificate of occupancy, and then you can go back and do the type of landscaping that they would want done. And we've all worked for builders, ladies and gentlemen. I was a home builder at one time. Enjoyed that part of my career where I kind of supplemented working for my parents' landscape business. I did that, built a couple houses a year. It was nothing big. I was, not one of these big time builders, but I enjoyed it. I kind of miss doing it, and I wouldn't mind doing that again in the future. But I love being on a job site, and I love this type of landscaping. Builders, they're not going to put the money into the landscape, into the landscape as they do in the house. Maybe 1 or 2%. That's saying a lot. If you build a $300,000 house, they've got $3,000. They want you to sow the yard. They want 2 or 3 trees. They want 10 shrubs across the front. But it's a half-acre lot, full-acre lot. I mean, I've seen it like that time and time again. And sometimes you have to walk away from them. But I love getting in front of that homeowner that's getting ready to move in. That's when I can sell them the irrigation system. I can sell them a nice landscape design, and we get the work. But always meet them at the place that you're going to irrigate or that you're going to landscape. What do you need to take with you? Well, you definitely need to take a tape measure. You need to take probably a 200-foot tape measure, a 25-foot tape measure, and be prepared to take measurements with that survey. You've drawn that survey, and so you're walking around with that clipboard, and you got your tape measure on your hip. And you've got a screwdriver that you can actually use one of these long tapes with and actually get some measurements. So kind of a recap here. The client has called. They've given you a copy of the survey, or if not, you've found one and you've taken this survey and you've blown it up and you've got it on a piece of paper, and you're gonna meet the client there at the house. All right, so we're taking that survey, we're taking our tape measures, we're taking our clipboard, and we're taking our camera phone. Now, this is old school, and I throw this in there, and hopefully you guys got a little kick out of that. But you've got your cell phone camera. This, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect tool for pretty much any business, but definitely for landscaping and definitely for irrigation, because everything we do is visual. Everything that we do is visual. So we're not only marketing our company, but we've got the QuickBook apps on here. You can do an estimate on your phone. I prefer an iPad, a little bit bigger to work on, but we've got technology in our hand that is going to help us be the better businesswoman, the better businessman, and be the better company for our clients. So, unfortunately, I still get handwritten estimates from people on certain jobs, or I get a handwritten invoice from people, and that's that's kind of behind the time, guys. We need to step up and take care. I know why you're doing it. I know where you're doing the handwritten invoices, definitely. But use the technology that's there. But everything that we need pretty much is on our cell phone, and we got that clipboard with the site plan. We're in business when we meet with that client. The compass, again, we always need to find magnetic north on the job site. And the compass app here, let's see if I can find mine. I got so many apps on my phone, but yes, I got the compass app right here. Something like that, really quick and sweet. But I write down all that information or take a screenshot of it, but I'm definitely writing it on the site plan that I've got with me. Where is north? And why do we need to know where north is as a landscape contractor or an irrigation contractor? It's all about the plant material. We need to know where we're gonna have our plants that need early morning sun. We need to know that information, and it all comes down to that microclimate on that job site. But again, it's on your cell phone. So our cell phone is able to take pictures. It's able to give us our find north, and we're able to write that down on the site plan that we've taken with us. Have a contract, whether it's electronic on an iPad or you can sign on your computer. Take that contract with you, and you meet with that client, and they feel comfortable with you, and you're comfortable with them. Get that contract and say, hey, let's go ahead and get this job started. How much is it going to be? When it comes to an irrigation price, when it comes to a lawn care price, yeah, I may can give a lawn care price over the phone, but if I need to go there and see the property. If I'm doing irrigation, if I'm going to do landscaping, I need to see the property. But I can figure the quote pretty quick from my laptop, from my iPad, and get the client to sign right then and there. And another thing that I'm going to ask for is a down payment. So irrigation system, we can go there, figure out how many zones pretty quick, what it's going to take to do it. We're going to ask them, hey, let me run out to the truck. I'm going to figure this real quick for you, come back in, give you an estimate here. But always have that contract with. And if you are doing it by hand, that's not a problem. Make sure you can get a copy of it, scan it in, or have the carbon copy, and do that. And my lights just cut off here. Hopefully, it's not going to affect overhead lights. It's called. Hopefully, it's not going to affect here. Also, take your portfolio. Take your pictures. Take sample designs of previous projects. Portfolio can be on your iPad. It can be on your phone. It's pictures of jobs that you've previously done. And make sure that you leave several business cards with your client. They're going to talk to their neighbors. Who did your landscaping? Who did your irrigation? Well, make sure that you're giving them some cards to pass out to your friend. And if you've got some nicely done brochures, leave those with them. You don't need to leave as many of those as you do the business cards, but I'll leave 10 business cards with a client. Say, hey, if you don't mind, pass these out. If you have any questions, or if your friends are looking for an irrigation or landscape contractor, have them give me a call. But that portfolio, ladies and gentlemen, is key. You can sit there with your iPad and just kind of scroll through the pictures. Or there's nothing wrong with having a nice leather bound or nice book put together with printed pictures. People like that too. And if you're in the design work, you need to have samples of your design. Take pictures of your drawing. Do that. We teach our students how to actually take very good pictures of their hand-drawn plans. I love still doing landscape and irrigation plans by hand. Yes, CAD works, and it's good, and it's quick, and you can produce some designs pretty quick, but there's still nothing like doing a job by hand drawing it and hand rendering it. And I love showing clients pictures of that. What to get from the client? We want to get trust and we want commitment, that we know that we've got that job. And that simple contract is sometimes all you need to ensure that that client's serious. They've met with you, you're sitting at the kitchen table, you've walked around the house, measured it, whether it's for irrigation or landscape, you know what you're going to be doing. You've got that contract. Let's say the job is going to be $7,500, and you write that estimate, and you have that contract there, and you say, hey, I'm ready to get started. You know, we can put you on the schedule if we get this contract. We do require small down payments, and you know, to get you locked in, and you know, get that from them if at all possible. But trust, it takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. And that's in any type of relationship that we're in, whether it's with our loved ones or with the client. You cannot break the trust. You'll never get that client back if you break that trust. So get that trust and get that commitment from the client. Now, I've always told people, and I've told this in my face-to-face classes, guys, when I meet with the client, I don't lose a job because of pricing. Guaranteed, I'm probably going to be a little bit higher than most people that I bid against. I'm going to win the client over because they feel comfortable with me. And I know that if I'm bidding on one of you guys and you get the job and I didn't, it's because that client felt better with you. They trusted you more. They felt a connection with you more. And that is A-okay. That's okay. That's the kind of client that we want. We want that trust. We want that built relationship. I'm not going to lose a job because of pricing. I lose a job because my competitor had a better connection with that client. And that's how I view everything in this business. We're all colleagues. We're not competitors. We're industry professionals, and it takes that personality to win these jobs. If I win a job because I'm the cheapest man or woman, I don't want it to begin with. I've missed something. I've left money on the table. Yeah, we hired Eric because he was $2,000 cheaper than Joe over there. No, you're never going to hear that. They're going to say, Eric was close in price. He was a little bit higher. Joe was close to Eric's price, but Mark over there was a little bit higher. We felt better with Mark. I lose jobs because they feel better with you guys, and that's okay. I'll learn from that experience, and if they didn't feel comfortable with me and they felt more comfortable with somebody else, then it's a client that I didn't need. I tell people I value their business. I don't need it. I value it, and it's a learning experience, because if I don't get this job, if I don't get this irrigation job, I'm going to get the next one I've learned from. What else we need to get? Now this, again, site survey, but we need to take photos. Again, when I go to a job site, I'm taking 1 million photos of the property. My camera is going to be full. I will take 100 pictures of a house that looks just like this. And again, this is the perfect house that we want to win. This is the one we want to do irrigation for, the landscaping, the whole 9 yards. New house, just built, client's getting ready to move in. The builder says he's got $1,500 to put towards landscaping. They're like, don't worry about the landscaping. If we need to sow the yard for $1,500 to get in, but we're hiring Eric Jones at Turf Teacher and Elite Landscape Service to do this job. We're going to have them come in. The perfect job. But when I'm going there, I'm going to take pictures of the front, the side, the back, upside down, every which way possible. And another thing that I've started using is a drone. I like taking the drone, setting it up, flying it up, and getting overhead pictures of the house. Now, what can that help you do? That can help you landscape design. It really can. You can actually come up with a base plan by taking aerial photographs, especially on something like this that's clean and crisp. I mean, this is a blank canvas. This is the perfect opportunity to come in and really do something neat and do some good designs for a client. What else you need to get from the client is that next meeting. You need to have it scheduled. You need to sit down at the kitchen table and say, hey, Mr. and Miss Smith, thanks for this, thanks for the contract, thanks for the job, but when do we need to meet again? Let's meet next week, and go ahead and pencil it in. Have your calendar there. Open up your phone if you're using that for your schedule and say, hey, I've got next Tuesday open at 5 o'clock. You mind if I stop by? And this, guys, this goes again if you're just doing design. If you're meeting with a client and doing their landscape design, or if you're doing irrigation design possibly, you'd want to meet back with them and let them take a look at it and get their opinion on it. So, hey, I'll meet you back here. How about next Tuesday? Is 5 o'clock good? Well, we've got a ball game. Well, how about 5:30? Or if not, I can do it Wednesday. But you schedule it in. You need to get that next meeting scheduled and have it on your calendar, because if not, if you don't do it while you're there in front of them and you say, I'll call you, or guys, you call me when you want me to come back, chances are it's not. Unless you've got that big down payment. But when you are discussing the design, make sure it's in a quiet setting. Make sure it's a place that you're able to sit and talk and that there's no distractions. Now, again, on a job site, might be a little bit different, but it's okay. You need to meet with both of the couple. You need man and wife need to be there. Hopefully, they didn't bring their children, but sometimes they have to, because the kids will be getting into stuff, especially on a new construction site. But if you're sitting at the kitchen table, make sure that it's quiet. Make sure that the TV's off. And it's okay. Ask them, do you mind turning that TV off? I want to show you this. I want to show you some good drawings. I want to show you a nice portfolio. Sit there and make sure that that there really is no distractions. So when we're going to talk about the design, the discussion of the design, the philosophy, after the client has discussed what they want, you need to share your design philosophy, including the portfolio, pictures, and etc. Okay, so I tell my students at the college every day, we are problem solvers. We are the experts on solving the client's problem, whether it's a blank canvas on some of the pictures that we've seen, or if it's an existing landscape that they just know they need something different. And I tell everybody that this roll of trash paper is my #1 tool with a Sharpie. I prefer the Pentel sign pen, but a Sharpie and this trash paper you can get in any office supply store. Thin, kind of reminds me like of wax paper that mom used to use for cooking and stuff. But it is my #1 tool when it comes to design, whether it's landscape or irrigation. I can sketch it out on there. I've got my site plan. I'll roll this stuff over top. If I mess up, guess what? No big deal. It goes in the trash can. But after they talk about what they want, then you can share your design philosophy, including the pictures and the portfolio. But what we tend to forget sometimes, especially when we're designing, is that we're designing their property based on how we would design it. We need to really listen to it. So we have a problem. It gets defined by taking inventory and analysis, and then we bring in the solutions and we develop it, and then we have their final resolution or the purpose of why they hired for us. Again, remember, we are the client's problem solvers, whether it's designing an irrigation and installing that system, whether it's in designing a new landscape or doing a renovation for them, we are their problem solvers. Write down everything. It provides helpful reminders, and it does let the client know that you're actively listening. Take a bunch of notes. Draw it on the site plan. You're sitting there at the kitchen table, and when we do the site inventory and analysis lecture, if you take that class, you do it more with symbols, and especially on the plan itself. You do it in symbols. For one, the client really can't understand it, but it shows them that you're making notes that you know on their plan. But have a little notebook. I take a sketchbook. I take just a handy sketchbook, and I write everything down in there that I'm talking with the client about. What do they want? Again, it's our job sometimes to help the client know what they want. And we can do that with our portfolio and pictures of prior samples. And they know that we love this yellow tree. We saw it down at Old Salem. Right before leaf drop, it gets this bright yellow, and the leaves look really, really distinct, and we just can't remember what it is. And hey, I've got a plant palette here and on my iPad, and I bet you're talking about the ginkgo, and you open it up, yes, that's it. so we can help them understand the types of materials and what they want. But first, listen to see what they want, and don't ever force your opinion. Just listen to them, bring in your ideas, but again, don't forget that don't design it for what you would use. Bring in your expertise. And that's why when I do a design, they're going to have, at least 3 different preliminary designs, concept designs, before we go to our final design. Client information. We need to know how many people live in the house, what their ages are, what their jobs are, if they have any allergies, and if they have pets. And why would we need to know this information? Well, what's happening in today's society? We have houses or homes that have 3 generations living in it. And why is that? Well, young couple gets married, they have kids, kids are growing up, they're still young, they've not gone off to college yet, they're still at home. An in-law or a parent gets sick, they have to move in. And so you have 3 generations living in a house. And that's fine. We're supposed to take care of each other. Our parents raised us, we're supposed to take care of them when they get older. And unfortunately, there are some children that will not leave the house, that still want to stay in the basement forever. So we've got to ask these questions. How many people are there? How many vehicles are going to be there? Maybe they're having an issue in parking on the street and they need an extra parking space alongside the driveway. Can grandfather drive? If he's, late 80s, maybe he's not driving. Ask these questions. It's okay. And ask what their occupation is. You might be working for somebody that does accounting for a golf course. He may want to come home and not see any grass. He's looked at it all day, or, doing budgets for them. So ask what they do, because that can help in your design. And the allergies. Maybe they're allergic to certain plants. Maybe they're, I don't know. Maybe they just don't like a particular plant. It doesn't have to do with the allergy, but then there are pets. If there is pets on there, where's the dog lot? Do they run outside? Hey, they've got that small gate. We're not going to be able to get our trencher back there if we're doing the irrigation. We're going to have to take that section of fence out. You need to know that information, because you're going to have to take it down and put it back up. Design goals. Make sure that they're clean and clear, that they're organized, that they're visually appealing, they're professional, and that you're reasonably priced. That should be your design goals, whether or not you're, doing a full design, a renovation, or just, doing the complete project. And they're going to give you their design goals. They're going to want that outdoor room. They're going to want that outdoor kitchen. They're going to want just a small, simple place that they can put a grill. They may want a hot tub. They may want a place that they can sip coffee and read the morning paper. All of that's going to be gotten from the client, and that can be done. You can start learning this information if it is a full-blown landscape design for the client by sending out a survey, or having a survey online that they can actually go to and fill this information out. What do they want? What do they want in their yard? What are their hobbies? Do they entertain? Do they have people come over a lot? One thing with my kids, I want my kids and their friends to hang out at our house. So I need a larger place. I need either a bonus room, or I need a outdoor deck, somewhere that high school age students can hang out and bring their friends over, and I can keep an eye on them. What other entertainments do the clients use? Do they garden? Is that part of their enjoyment? Is that part of their entertainment? Do they need garden space? Do they need that quiet sitting area? Do they want a outdoor place to watch football? I had a friend that actually had a super nice deck, and he built an enclosed cabinet that he could open up, and it was a huge flat screen, and he would sit outside in the open and watch football. And he had a trellis going over it with vines to keep the sun off of him and stuff, but that was his favorite place. That's where he watched Sunday football every single day. Do Do you have kids that need somewhere to practice soccer? Do they like throw and catch? Any of that stuff would be their hobbies and their entertainment. What do they want to do in their yard? Views. And when it comes to views, guys, a lot of times the client may not understand what we're talking about. You may get to a property and see just a horrible looking tree, and the client probably hadn't ever paid attention that if they took down that tree, they may have a magnificent view of a downtown city or a mountain in the distance, if by just removing that tree, and that could increase that property value so much by opening up those views. People kind of get caught up in possessive of their trees. I'm like, no, if it can be taken down. I mean, I'm a landscape contractor. If I have a chance to take down a tree, that also gives me a chance to plant them a new one somewhere else. So I'm not a per se tree hugger. If a tree needs to come down to open up a view of downtown Winston as we have here, or Pilot Mountain, I'm going to cut the tree down so I can open up and see that view. And a lot of times the clients don't understand that. And they definitely won't pay attention from the views inside their house looking out. And when we are designing for someone, we need to look at those views from the kitchen, from the living room, from the dining room, not necessarily a bedroom, but definitely look out those windows and see what's possible. And don't forget that views may be something on another individual's property. It may be that ginkgo tree that you want to open up and let your client see. All right. What types, or what are some of their preferences? How much maintenance do they want to do? Do they want to cut grass? Some people enjoy doing that, and you may want to have some nicer areas or smaller turf grass areas if they want to use a push mower, if that's their type of enjoyment or their stress relief. What is their favorite plants? What is their least favorite plants? You need to get that from the client, and only them can tell you that. They can only tell you that. And it's crazy that your favorite plant may be the one plant that they hate. And I throw this picture up of a Nandina. We had a maintenance contract with a retirement home for 18 years. And the executive administrator hated Nandinas. This was an 88-acre site. And he wanted all the Nandinas removed and replaced with something else. And Nandina is not one of my favorites, but I don't hate them. They have a purpose. They're easy to prune. They're easy to take care of. They get that bright red color. So, I'm all for keeping them. He wanted them removed and planted with something else. He just did not like Nandinas. So that's kind of why I throw that in the lecture here. Questionnaire. Again, talked about this just a few minutes ago. Questionnaires, they can be sent prior to the interview and then go over them when you meet with the client, or they can email them back to you. Something as simple as this. I like an email form, Word format, but now like monkey surveys, stuff like that, you can build something really quick that you can email out to the client. What does that also tell you about the client? Well, for one, if they allow you to email them something like this and they answer it and they send it back to you, it tells them that they're serious. If you email a client a survey and just asking them, hey, what's your interest? What do you want us to incorporate in your design? If they don't answer that back, they may or may not really be interested in you completing a design for them. So I love the questionnaires, and I love this. But, again, I know we're talking about for irrigation and landscape contract. This is probably something you may only want to do if you're designing for the client. But you can get a lot of information out of a questionnaire. And when you're at the kitchen table, guys, we've already talked about it. Make sure you get that next appointment. Make sure you have it scheduled and that you're there. And make sure you can get a payment. Make sure you can get a down payment. And again, we can do so much with our phones. I love PayPal. I love being able to take and swipe a card while I'm there at the kitchen table. And, I'm just getting a small percentage of a down payment, and that lets me know that client's serious. And it also lets them know that you're serious and that you've put them on the schedule and that you're a legit business. Very few people pay with checks anymore nowadays, so you've got to be able to have the means to accept credit cards. What you leave with? Well, you've left with a down payment, you've left with that contract, you've left with a ton of pictures, you've left with information to go back and get started, but you need to follow up in a few days to see if they've forgotten anything. And this is whether or not you're doing design or an install. Hey, Miss Smith, it's Eric Jones, just wanted to call you. We met Monday, I've got started. I'm getting started on your job here. Just want to see, is there anything you've forgotten to tell me? Did you think about that favorite tree, or did you have to call Grandma and see what plant they had in their front yard? I just want to make sure that I'm doing the best for you, and that I'm here for you if you can think of anything else. Always follow up with the client. And then, last but not least, when you get back to your office, send them a handwritten note saying thank you. Thank you for the time. I do this, guys, whether or not I get the business or not, because I want to be the better person and leave that impression. Hey, thanks for the opportunity to give you an estimate or to give you a proposal on the design. Thank you for your business. We appreciate it. We're working diligently on your design, and you'll hear from us in a couple days. But again, thank you. People want to hear that, and they're real appreciative of that. I do it all handwritten, sign it handwritten, and I actually make out the envelope, write out their address on the front of the envelope. Nobody likes that computerized stuff. They want that personal attention, and that says a lot about you as an individual, that you care enough to take the time to say thank you. So send them that thank you card. Now, that kind of concludes, so let's wrap it up. Client consultation, you get that call, whether or not it's design or install, you get that call, hey, sounds like a good client, you're going to work for them. Hey, Miss Smith, do you have a copy of your survey? Do you mind emailing that to me? Well, I think I can email it to you. Well, if not, can you take a picture of your cell phone and text it to me? I can take a survey and blow it up that way. Just see if you can get a copy of the survey. If not, we know where to do it. You can get it from your county geodata. Meet with the client. You've already blown up that survey, taken a few minutes to do that. You're going to meet the client at 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. I would get there about 3:45, walk around with my iPad or phone, and I would take several pictures. That way I'm at the kitchen table, I can scroll through some pictures that I may need. I'm writing notes on the site plan that I've drawn, and when I sit down at the kitchen table, I'm already looking like the expert of their property. And we're sitting down there and we're talking about what they need and what's going to happen in their yard. So anyway, guys, I appreciate your business. Thank you for taking this class, and I look forward to you in the next class. This is Eric Jones. I'm turf teacher, and take care.